Well, good afternoon. It's March the 6th, 2025. 2 years since I did my first apple orchard walk, and here we are coming in at the top of the orchard as I did last night. But there's been a couple of things that have changed since then. I've added a new section over here, which is mostly Scottish apples with a couple of Scottish pears. I was also put in some Christmas trees, Nordman firs and Fraser firs, as a bit of a walkway into the orchard. I've also put a side access gate in, and these are all the Christmas trees. I think last time I did the walk, I did my ring of Perry. So what I've done since then is I've widened the circles, and I've started writing little labels to explain when they were planted and what they are, and for apples, rootstock. So I think last time I came down here, but we just do a wee detour because it's always work in progress, an orchard. So what I need to do with these ones, which I probably said in the last update in the orchard, well, I need to widen the circle and you can see they're a wee bit wobbly too. So I've purchased bigger stakes, which we'll see in a minute. But this section over here, the gorgeous day today by the way, the sun's over there. But this is still the Perry ring circle, but from here you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got about 20-ish Scottish apple varieties. Things like White Melrose, Stowell Castle, Stirling Castle. What's this one? Yeah, this is Stirling Castle. Tower Glams. I won't go through them all, but this section is my Scottish orchards section with Scottish cultivars, varieties. What have I got here? Apple East Lothian Pippin, and I think this might be the Thurl Pippin. So, what have I been doing? I've transplanted some trees from the garden. This one is, I think, can't remember, I should look at my records, but I think that's a Margil, and this is a wee Fiesta. The Margil was actually in the ground, and this was in a pot. And then there's a pear up there, just a conference pear, that was in a pot. So I've added them. I need to protect them from deer. At the minute you can see there's a wee bit of deer damage, hence why we need to protect them. I've still got the nursery where I've got, apparently I bought MM111s, but I don't think they've been doing very much in the last couple of years. I have grafted them, but I'm a bit disappointed. Right, so this is the beginning of my Herculean effort of taking out the original protection, which is this, and extending it. And you can see the biggest task is digging the turf. The turf is quite wet at this time of year, heavy, and these are much stronger posts. These are 2-inch posts rather than the 1 1/4. So what I'm trying to do is recycle the existing barrier fencing as much as I can, and then supplement it with from a different roll. So these are a couple of Maggie pears, and this is one I did just before lunch, but as I started to staple the fencing, it snapped off, so I'm going to have to put a proper post in there, I think. But yeah, so I won't walk around the whole orchard, but I will go down and round the perimeter. So as you can see, a lot of these trees have grown really well. This one was probably about this size when I planted it 2 years ago, so it's more than doubled in size. It's a Court Royal and it is on MM106, and I think it's a sweet cider apple. The majority of my cider apples are bitter sharp and bitter sweet, but I do have a few sweets to try and get a even blend. But it's been a gorgeous day in the orchard, and the sun, as you can see this time of year in March, I'm about to lose it over the tree line. These are a couple of new trees I've added as well. This is something my wife was keen on because the name, Darcy Spice, and that was for my birthday, I think. And she also bought me a berry pear there that's in the middle, which is a thorn, I think. Thorn berry pear. And then I go down here, I've started to transplant some other trees from the garden. Annie Elizabeth, I think, is on the left. Better put some markings on that. And this one is New Orleans Rennet. What is it? What does it say there? Yes, New Orleans Rennet, really nice eater. But again, that was in a pot in the garden, and I've transplanted it a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, the majority of the orchard down here has obviously not changed. I've tried to widen some that were really badly choked, but you can see that with the winds this winter, some of the posts have become loose, and this is all tangled, so I need to take all this off and dig out a wider circumference and re-protect it. It's quite a big job, as I'm finding out. But I've got 10 rows of the original 123 trees I planted, and my favourite tree actually, again, I had this in the garden. I did plant this last year along with this bloody ploughman, but the bloody ploughman got really badly damaged by deer, so I put this on. You can see it's hanging on, but it did crop okay last year. But this is the Yarlington Mill, which is just going to be a gorgeous tree when it gets to maturity. It's probably 5 years old now, I think. It's been up here about a year or so. And then down here, another failure by experiment. I bought a couple hundred of willow whips to add to my... I've got a wet area over there in the sort of perimeter of the main field, and so I've planted about 100 there and about 120 here, but they're not really doing too well. I think it may well be because I didn't plant them deep enough, but it's not really done very much, so it looks a bit deep to me, but I'm just going to give them another season to see if they come back. Otherwise I'll have to think again. But the reason I've put so many willows down here is because this is the wet bit of the orchard. The water table's quite high down here, and if you remember the previous recording, I left some holes that I'd originally planned to put apples in because the water was just sitting in them. It's not been too bad this year actually, but better safe than sorry. Planted some bulbs, spring bulbs, and this is the bottom of the orchard. A mixture of Scottish pears and cider apples are down here. Again, I'm not going to go through every single tree, but you can see how closely this is. I mean, this is doing okay. I think this is a Maggie. It's not really done too well down here, this tree, compared to the ones further up. Maybe it's too wet down here, but some of the apples have done really well. So, you know, Ashton Brown Jersey, What's this one? Another Ashton Brand jersey. Another one. So again, I'll have some good cider trees down here. This makes really good cider in Somerset. My local cider man in Hex makes Porter's Perfection. It's a really good single variety apple. And again, when I planted this probably about up to about here. So again, it's more than trebled, and it's on a standard rootstock M25. And one reason I need to widen the netting, as you can see, the damage that it does by rubbing against the plastic. So again, to prevent disease getting into the tree, I need to widen this. But anyway, so this is the bottom row. I have widened these actually to not quite a metre, but they're much better than the rest of the orchard. Obviously what I haven't done is move the netting. It's all a bit loose. So I think with the 2-inch stakes and a wider circumference, the trees will begin. What I have done actually, because I'm not going to get to all of these before the end of the spring, I've made holes in the netting to try and minimise the rubbing, as you can see. But you know, whether this is something that's short term, because I do need to take this whole thing off and put it around the wider circumference. And then coming back up to the right hand side of the orchard, there's row 1, row 2. Oh, I've also planted, I think it's about 50 trees. Every post has a sort of crab apple or dog rose. When I did the big hedgerow planting around the side of the orchard, I had about 50 trees left, so I decided to put them here. Whether they'll only been in the ground a year, and they were tiny. They were only about 4 or 6 inches tall, so these are coming along. It's to hopefully encourage wildlife and pollinators in years to come. Row 4. Right, these trees have done really well. These are again on standard rootstock, tail sweet, really good tree. But again, not too bad, but again, I've got to fix this and again unchoke it. As you'd imagine, standards do grow quickly. Time will tell to see if they're prolific in terms of cropping. And then what I have found when I've been unchoking some of these, I think it was this one. Is this the Black Dabinet? I think it might be. I can't reach into it now, can I? What is it? Yeah, Black Dabinet M111. It had thrown up some rootstock spurs, so I had to dig it up actually, replant it, and I managed to pull off 4 rootstocks. So we'll get them in the ground and see, you know, free rootstock really. Quite a lot of the pairs of, well, not a lot, a few of the ones I've tried to widen have also thrown up rootstocks, but I've tried to cut them off and make sure the rootstock does not take over the tree. That needs to be there, and it needs to be secured. This netting is quite easy to work with, but ideally you need 2 people. That's just me, myself and I today. So what I've started is down here 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've done 5 of about 120-ish trees that I need to widen. And that took the morning, so I'm not going to do 5 this afternoon. It's hard work digging all this up. But let's walk back up to the gate. What I've also been doing is when I did my walk the other day, I did a bit of pruning, winter pruning, to take off crossing branches and unwanted growth. So So let's just walk up to the back where I started. Let's walk through the Scottish garden orchard that I planted last year. Again, 20-ish trees, 23 I think from memory. But again, you can see that once I've planted them wider, I do need to get on top of mulching them to stop grass competing with the trees for moisture in the summer. So I've got a bit of time, but it's quite hard work doing this on your own. But what's this one? This is an Arbroath pippin, also called the Noseland. Again from Scottish heritage fruit trees. They should do well in Scotland. And here we go, back up to top of the orchard. Oh, I had a few Christmas trees left, so because I'm hoping to harvest them for Christmases to come, and after 5 or 7 years, I planted them on this side of the orchard, about 3 or 4 of them, just to, well, because I've kind of run out of space. I'm not sure I can add any more trees at the minute. What I do have though is for my wedding anniversary last year, my wife got me a bush, so this one. Don't know if I need to protect it from deer. Probably best to, just in case. But every morning, if I do come up here with the dogs, I always come up here to this little spot, because it's the sort of highest spot in the orchard. I take a wee picture just to see how the orchard is developing. So time lapse, I've got about best part of 2 years of not quite daily pictures, but not far off. So I'll keep doing that to see what happens after 5 years. Final bit of the Scottish orchard. Some lovely sheep in the field. So it's nice to have sheep as neighbours. And this is a Jargonelle Scottish pear. And as you can see, it's well ahead of most trees in the orchard. It's sprouting its leaves and buds at the minute. So pears do tend to blossom earlier than apples, so I would imagine in the next couple of weeks we'll see a big development on that tree. And then another final tree that I planted from the garden, Kidd's Orange Red, another good eater. This was in a pot, so again this is probably about 5 years old, but again I need some protection. You can see any new tree that I plant now, I put a good metre perimeter in it, and therefore back to the top of the orchard. I don't really use this now that I've got a side gate, but that's me. First proper orchard walk of the year, 2 years into planting it back in February and March 23, and I'll probably keep doing the odd walk now and again, more from my interest than if I ever do put this on YouTube. I'm not sure people will find it particularly interesting, but you never know. Good afternoon.